If you've ever felt pain in your shoulder through any of your pressing type exercises, this little case study will help highlight a progression of exercise to help you get rid of that. A lot of people will struggle with pinchiness in the back of the shoulder, sometimes in the front of the shoulder, as they get their arm up into the overhead position. So if Carl takes his arm right up through there, sometimes people get a little bit of a pinching feeling somewhere around here or at the back over here as well. In particular, if you're new to overhead exercises, if you're new to CrossFit, weightlifting, or any gym environment that requires pressing type motions, the tissues and the control need to be slowly kind of built in time. And this is a little progression that we will run through a lot of our patients who have these kind of issues. So the first thing we're going to start with Carl is we're going to start him just rolling up and down a wall, just getting used to the control of the shoulder. So we're going to come over to the rig. Carl's going to take a foam roller. Now ideally you could do this up on the wall. The foam roller is going to start at about shoulder height, and we're going to pop the edge of the hand actually on the foam roller. And all Carl's going to do is he's just going to put a little bit of pressure in, and he's going to reach all the way up, lock his elbows out up at the top. Good. And then as he comes back down, he's going to pull right back down into that roller as well. And what that's essentially doing is it's just getting the shoulder blades into the full rotation all the way up and all the way down. We're looking to keep nice and neutral in the head, and ultimately just a nice tall position through the spine there. So that's exercise 1, just getting the control. Exercise 2 is about getting strength through the posterior part of the shoulder, and we do this through something called a prone press. So Carl's going to lay down on his belly on the bench, and you can do this on the floor as well. And just like we were doing a normal overhead press, Carl's going to elicit the same pattern. So he's going to come up into this position here. He's going to press something heavy up overhead. We're going to lock the elbows out. And then he's going to pull that heavy weight back down by his side. So we get a lot of involvement through the lats, a lot of stuff happening through the back part of the shoulder, all the way up. And the big key on this exercise is intent. So when we do this, don't just passively go up and down. We're physically driving something up, and then we're physically pulling something back down. If we want to progress on from that, we can get Carl just to grab a broomstick, and he's going to do a behind the neck press in this position. So he's just going to press all the way up overhead and then all the way back down. Really tough exercise, not an easy one. Excellent. Okay, have a rest. So that's exercise 2 in the progression. And the last exercise for the first progression is simply an overhead kettlebell hold. So I'm going to get Carl in a second. He's going to press it up overhead. He's going to just hold it basically in that position there. So Carl, if you want to grab that, I'll get the bench out the way. So all the way up. Now if you can't get it up there to start, you just pop it on a box, 2 hands, and you can lift it up with 2 hands and hold with 1 at the top. For Carl, he's going to lock up right up the top. We're looking for a nice tall posture. We're looking for lockout at the elbow, and we're just holding that position. And it isn't the most exciting exercise, so what we can add in is a bit of variety. We can get Carl just to walk up and down the sled track, for example. He can march on the spot. He could go into lunges, for example, as well. And the whole purpose is just to keep that shoulder under tension so that the muscles, connective tissue can adapt in that overhead position there as well. Perfect. So that's kind of our phase 1 exercises. Our phase 2 exercises are built around strength. So the first exercise we'll give somebody in phase 2 is a half kneeling kettlebell press. So Carl's now going to come down into the half kneeling position like this. Knee at 90 degrees, nice and tall through here. You're actually going to swap the bell to the other side. And he's going to use his left arm for this one. 2 arms up. We're going to look, before you do the press, just come back down. We're going to just get that forearm a little bit more there. Good, and he's just going to press all the way up, locking out at the top, and then coming back down in the same path that he went back up. Again, not easy, and we want to find a weight that we can execute the movement really, really well. Good, have a rest through there. So now we're starting to develop a bit of press. So the second exercise in phase 2, after we've done our pressing, is we're going to do some activation work using the crossover symmetry. Now you can use power bands or TheraBands for this, but the crossover symmetry typically works quite well. And what we're going to do, Carl's just going to cross it over. He's going to stand, he'll be back to you, but what he's ultimately going to do here is he's going to do a row to start, so arms out in front of you like that. He's going to row back, just like that, elbows up a little higher. Yep, so we're going to row, nice to high row. He's then going to rotate both arms up to 90. Then he's going to press. He's going to come back down. He's going to rotate forward and then go back forward again. So if you want to run through a few of those there, Carl. So you can see again, a lot of posterior cuff, getting the shoulder blade into a good position. And we're looking to execute each phase of the movement quite specifically there as well. Excellent. So that's our phase 2 stuff, and then our phase 3 stuff is more integration back into the sport. So this is where we like to grab a barbell. And what we're going to do here is we're going to start to do some pressing variations. So in Carl's case, we'll just start with a strict military press with the barbell. So he's going to stand nice and tall, he's going to get strong through here, and he's going to vertically press, lock out of the top, and pull back down. So we can now start to develop our strength through the press. Then if you want to bring the bar behind your neck for me here, Carl, we'll go into a behind the neck press. From there we can do some behind the neck presses as well. So we're going to be pressing straight up. Again, we're just changing the joint angle a little bit, but it helps us create strength in a variety of different angles and positions. Excellent. And then the last thing we're going to do from the progression is we go into a little bit more speed. So this is done through push presses, through power jerks and those kind of variations, or split jerks. So getting that speed. Once the strength foundation is built, we look for that speed and control. Just like that. So that's a nice progression for anybody who's struggling with pressing overhead, who gets that pinchy type of pain. You're literally just going to run through each phase, each exercise. Usually the reps and set are generally going to be set by how much fatigue or how hard the exercise is, but we generally advise about 2 to 3 sets of each exercise. The weight that you pick, again, will be variable. Ultimately, we want minimal to no pain or discomfort, and as we develop a little bit of awareness in the exercise, you just add a little bit more weight, and develop your strength back up until you're in the realm of what you need to be doing in the gym environment.